There's your sound. We've got sound! Yeah!
Hello, it's me, Big John from Karelia. No.
From Karelia Cards. Yes, I have pressed record. You didn't have to remind me at all. Hello and welcome to this week's thrilling adventure of Shadowrun. We're probably the only people in the Shadowrun channel at the moment, which means we are top. Yes.
Yeah. And we were late because of Longshanks.
I'm sorry, I've only just gotten from work and I'm munching on my food.
Always an excuse with these young'uns.
Yeah, well, I've cut the
elves.
I've cut the back of my tooth off. So if all of a sudden I go like that, I'm not sort of like I'm in pain, and that's it.
You've done that.
Yeah, it's just my inside of my mouth is just like wreck and ruin. I tell you. So I'm on a liquid diet now for about a week, you know. So next week I'll be able to turn sideways and I'll just disappear. That's what be. Yeah. Excellent.
Can you not be to the other side?
No, I can't, because on the opposite side I have all the neuralgia pain.
Right.
So this side I got a broken tooth. This side is all the necrotic tooth with all the infection in. So the only place I can actually eat is here. I go like a little rabbit.
Just do that.
Yeah, so
we'll just call him a rabbit from now on.
Excellent. So, before we go any further, I'm going to allow the players the opportunity to say who they are and who they'll be playing in tonight's thrilling adventure. And we're going to start off, as ever, down there in the darkness, which is Chugga-Wugga.
Hi guys, I'm Chugga-Wugga. I am playing a character called Stanley Lovely. He goes by the name of Studley on the streets. He's a portly, middle-aged, receding hairlined gentleman who lives at home with his mom. He used to be an investigative journalist, but he got laid off from that job. And because of his mother's increasing upkeep due to her illnesses, he has had to find another job, which is running with these other two people.
Delightful people.
Yeah, other people. And what does Studley bring to the group? Well, he is a combat mage. He has various utility spells that can help him on his way, but his main forte is providing magical support. I'm done. That's me.
Fantastic. And so we'll pass it.
Oh, he wears glasses as well, like this. No.
Yeah. So we will pass it over to Longshanks EPG, who's eating.
I want to know what you're eating first.
Mince and rice.
Oh, right.
Because it was
not very exciting. Then.
Left over from yesterday.
No, right.
So it was quick. See, I did think about you guys.
Yeah.
It only took me 4 minutes to cook it. Hi guys, I'm Longshanks EPG. Tonight I am playing Hector. He is an elf of quite young years for elves. He's only in his mid-20s. He's trying to model himself after sort of like the group infiltration expert with some decent aiming with guns and that sort of thing. He's got an interesting background, which I don't really want to go into right now.
Cool.
And I'll pass it off to Big Beastie.
Yeah, Big Beastie. You have the mic, Beastie.
I am Big Beastie, and I'm
You're
sick.
muted.
I
I just thought I'd say that.
That was funny, actually.
I'm playing Billy Bob. He is an ex-soldier and also I was going to say a troll. He's not a troll. He's an orc.
Yes,
So he brings to the table, as in combat skills and his old military style. He used to live on the streets for a number of years until he got took in by an old Shadowrunner that we used to run with, but now he left us, and now I'm stuck with these two.
Oh,
He was really good. He was.
He
Old
was.
one, wasn't he, BJ?
Yeah.
who was that?
BJ.
No, he used to talk like this.
Was that BJ? Or was it FaZe?
Oh, was it FaZe?
It was
I don't
Faze.
know. Trigglegoose had so many characters.
I know he has. It's like, do you know? I've just recreated this this icon, this token, and then I've saved it somewhere. I have no idea where I've saved it.
I'm getting worried now if he's redone my token.
I know.
Yeah.
I've just updated it and everything, so it looks super cool. Where did I save it?
Has anybody seen the video of the corgi riding a horse?
No.
Yes,
okay.
I have.
All right, cool.
Right, it's there. It's called Hector 3.
I
Right.
don't see it. I see the 3 big beasties.
Hector 4, I'm going
Oh,
to call
Billy
it
Bob's.
now. Save. Right.
You watch. You'll actually bring up the floor plan, and there'll be just a whole lot of hectares.
Nothing else. There's a whole lot
Yeah.
of... Right.
He'll move. He'll say, "Right, I'm going to move to here," and he'll move it, and there'll be another hectare underneath. Then he'll have to move that one, and then the next one.
Oh, do you know, this is weird. I've just saved it into this folder.
Well, you know what it is?
And it's not there. I swear it is not there.
You know what it is? It's the ghost in the machine.
Well, it certainly
yeah.
is something. It's either that or they don't like Hector at all.
That's understandable.
That is understandable. I don't think Hector likes Hector.
Good grief. This is really bugging me now.
So has he got a new token then?
No,
is it
but if you look
token?
in the chat, there isn't a token next
I
to
know,
his
I've noticed
name.
that.
On the stream.
Right,
Can he not
notice
be
all.
suited guy one?
Yeah, it could be actually.
Could you not rename suited guy one to Hector?
That's a bit of too much of an upgrade for Hector, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just,
And then just have a different token for him?
right. I might just have to upload the old one because I can't see this new token that I've just made at all. Right, I'm just going to have to do this one. I'm just going to have to upload. I've made, because your old tokens were really small. The new tokens are a lot bigger
So you've been messing. That's
because I changed the sort of like the how big they were because they were too small. So when you enlarged them, you couldn't actually see them. Oh, found it.
Are we having a break now then?
No, shut up or you die.
I could do with a break.
Yeah.
Right, hang on. He's about to appear.
Back
And
up.
that's it. And then that's it. Anyway.
Knee hurts.
Anyway, so what an exciting adventure we had
purple now.
last week. Really exciting adventure we had last week because the Uncle Stewie, who is Studley's uncle, I think, actually
Yeah, that's why it's called Uncle Stewie. Yeah.
actually hired the party to clean out a shop where Uncle Stewie knew.
who'd you call
Sorry,
it?
yeah. So you had to go and Uncle Stewie put you in touch with a fixer called
Cookie.
Cookie. That's right. And
He was a
Cookie,
dwarf.
dwarf fixer
The cat.
who got shot. I do believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the tank's fault.
Yeah, because you were in a Sally Sidewinders, and somebody who was not happy with Cookie's exploits came into the bar and threatened to shoot Cookie. Well, did shoot Cookie in the shoulder. And despite this, Studley used his magic to increase his charisma, making himself look even more persuasive than he did already, and managed to get the party 3,500 credits for doing the job correctly. They then, Cookie informed them that he was tired of doing his business out of the back of a car and was setting up business in Southside, and he had rented or bought a certain almost like shop with an upstairs. However, it was assumed to be haunted. Anyway, the party set off to this haunted shop. They found out some really interesting information at the Pie and Scoff, which was a local bar. And then they decided in the middle of the night to head round to this haunted shop. And they arrived at the haunted shop and they got inside and they started to look around. And just as they started to look around, this figure, this ghostly figure of a woman sort of like rose up from some mist that gathered in the back of the shop and rose up to this almost like beautiful yet scary woman. And then she flung herself towards the party, screaming and wailing as she came. And while she did this, people had to, I think it was this sound. Yeah, it was that sound. And she did that and came towards the party. And the Studley and Hector managed to resist the scaremonger tactic of this ghost to scare them off. However, Billy Bob was somewhat petrified, and with his knapsack on his back, made headway out into the street and ran down the street. And I think that's where we left it last week, guys.
Yes, it was indeed.
Yeah. Now, according to my my list, it's about midnight. Is that correct?
Yes, it probably is around.
Yeah.
Around that.
So Hector and Studley, you're in the shop, and Billy Bob, you are running down the street in true Benny Hill style. You know, heading down, we're holding onto your knapsack as you go, and we will pick it up from there. Cue players.
I don't know whether or not you were going to bring up the floor plan or something, or did we not have a floor plan?
No, you didn't have a floor plan.
Right. Ooh,
this
theatre
of the mind.
Okay.
What was that?
So, okay, Billy Bob's out the door.
Yeah, you're. I'll tell you when you stop running, Billy Bob. Don't we?
Okay.
So we're back to Longshanks and Chuggle and Hector and Studley. Yeah.
What was that?
Now might be the best time to actually discuss what it was. I suggest we vacate this area as quick as possible.
Can't you?
And Studley's to turn around and start munching towards the door.
Hector follows him, slightly confused, but says, "Can't you, and then does an action with his hand, like magic it."
Magic what? Can you see it anymore?
Well, no, but can you?
I've no idea. Let's discuss this outside.
Okay. Hector will follow. Follow Studley outside then.
Studley's going to go outside. Which way did
He
Which
ran
way did Billy Bob?
as you come out the shop. He ran left, which is past the turn off that goes to the Pie and Scoff. But he carried on running straight down. You can see him in the distance. He stopped running, but he's sort of like doing that classic pose. You know, when somebody's been running for a while, he's sort of like bent over, sort of like panting somewhat.
Studley's going to turn to Hector, and he's going to say, I don't suppose you managed to get a picture of it, did you? Of whatever it was?
No, it's too busy trying not to wet myself.
Right. Can you describe to me exactly what you saw and what you felt? Well, very important. What you felt when the apparition was coming towards you. That's very important.
Can I do a memory test to see what I remember?
Yeah, if you need me to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Why does it say Kenji?
I don't know why it's coming up as Kenji. There we go.
Why is he calling you Kenji?
Billy Bob, can you roll, just while they're doing this, can you roll your willpower and logic? Remember, it needs to be a special dice roll because there's not one actually, or it might be willpower and logic. Is that your memory check? Yeah.
I just saw this white shape that screamed at me, and I just felt frozen to the spot and cold.
No, very, very interesting.
1d5.
Very interesting indeed. I suggest we rendezvous. I think that's the word that they use in the military with Mr. Bob, and I think we definitely need to do a bit more legwork on this. I don't. To be honest with you, I thought when Cookie was first having us, it was going to be maybe some kids messing about. You know, the odd prank, scaring the neighborhood, but yes, I don't think that is the case.
Yeah, cool, thank you.
No, it's after seeing that thing, that definitely not. No.
Right. So we're gonna head down the street, and we're going to try to get back to.
Rusty Rosie is parked around the corner, if you remember, near the Pine Scoff.
Okay. And what's Billy Bob doing now?
Yeah, he's panting for some distance away. He looks very white and quite shaken, and quite frankly, he looks like he's just seen a ghost.
Okay, so we're going to go and get Billy Bob, and we're going to lead him back to the car.
Yeah.
Does he look like he's in any fit state to drive?
Billy Bob, are you saying anything, or are you just letting him?
Billy Bob will probably drive, but he'll probably get the hell out of there then.
Okay, yeah.
And Hector goes, unless you want me to drive, he says, like, very chirpy, like, ooh, I don't get it. Unless you want me to drive.
Are they with me now, are they?
Yeah, they just said that they came down to the street to pick you up.
Try to keep up.
Sorry. No. He's still out of breath. He's still panting. He's still panicked, but he's still in the right mind not to let him drive.
Okay.
No, you never let me drive, Billy Bob.
Look,
Don't drive, you know.
Let's get out of here. I don't want to be here no more.
Okay. So just roll your vehicle skill to make sure that the Rusty Rosie is up for a quick getaway, since it's quite a dilapidated car. Oh yeah, just it's just sort of like you turn it over for a while and then it sort of like bursts into life and you're able to drive off. Where would you like to go, guys?
Oh,
Studley's going to talk as they're driving wherever Billy Bob is going.
Okay, yeah. So they're going back to their house.
Right. Yes, it was that's very interesting. When the emotions on the astral plane when I checked it with my perception, they were like unlike anything I've ever seen before. The emotions were very strong, almost intense.
What emotions were they?
Hate, fear, loathing, sadness. Almost as if it was from something that was finding it hard to keep its emotions in check. But there was also this underlying emotion of love as well. It was strong. I've never really experienced anything like that.
Didn't love Billy Bob
at all.
I think it's fair to say Billy Bob didn't love us at all. Any of us.
Billy Bob don't want to go back.
I think the interesting thing is that the actual astral signature was linked to that building, as if the two are linked in some way. I don't know whether or not you picked that up.
No, I didn't. But if it's a link, can it be broken? I mean, like a chain link can be broken.
No, Mr. Hector. I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I think we need more information on what's going on.
I like what Billy Bob just said. Yes.
What's that?
The power of Christ compels thee. The power of Christ compels thee.
Yes. I don't think it's religious. I'm not really a religious person myself.
But it might work though.
Don't you need to be ordained to perform an exorcism? Are you ordained, Hector?
I'm not. No,
Mr.
Surely,
Bob,
if you just
are you ordained?
No.
No, I did not. Do you know what ordained means?
Fancy words upset Billy Bob.
I think before we venture back into the property, it's important that we think carefully, and I think we should be asking ourselves, what is it? I think that's a very important question. Why is it still there? I think that's another important question. And the third question, why hasn't it moved on?
Perhaps we might get some answers if we find out what happened in the building. I mean, I know I keep saying films, but in the films, it's, sort of like ghosts and things normally stay if something's happened to them. There's normally always a reason why ghosts like stick around. Either they've been murdered, or a loved one was murdered, or they can't move on to the next world. So perhaps someone could have been killed there. in the past, and it's them haunting the building.
That is certainly a possibility, and one which we do need to look into.
I could ask my uncle, because I call him my uncle, but my godfather, because he's a policeman, so I could ask him, because he would probably be able to tell us.
Right? Yes, that is probably a good idea. If, of course, it is a reported crime.
Wow, that's true.
But it is certainly a revenue that we could go down. I believe, Hector, you have.
Can I just say that it's coming up to about 3:00 in the morning, and you've sort of like been awake for some time now. So it's probably a good idea that you head back to your normal accommodations and have about 8 hours sleep at this point, and then meet up to have this discussion about midday on day 2. Rather than, unless you want to continue talking through the night. But the only issue then is that you will incur a negative dice pool if you don't sleep soon.
I mean, there is the sofa that you could sleep on, Studley, if you wanted to carry on talking about this for a little bit longer.
No. Unfortunately, I do have other prior engagements that I do have to take care of, and a sleepover with you two is not on the top of my list of things to do.
Well, I wouldn't call it a sleepover, but
So you probably head back over to your normal everyday accommodation and probably sleep for about 8 hours. And Billy Bob, you have strange dreams of ghosts chasing you down the corridors of the world in your dream worlds and roads, etc. So although you do have enough sleep to operate the next day, you wake up in that awful cold sweat several times during the night. And it's about what time would you be able to meet up again the day after? Sorry, it's this day, but probably in the afternoon.
It's probably going to have to be around about 2:00.
Okay then. So Studley, you can come back after you've looked after your mom and sort of like done your everyday housework and caring duties. So we'll fast forward to 2:00 in the afternoon now of day 2. And this is when you can continue your discussion and, if you wish, start to do any sort of legwork. Sorry?
I was going to say, can I take my physical in stun off? Because I've still got that on for some reason.
Hang on. I
don't think I took any damage in the last one. I'm just worried about the physical.
Did you not take it with the? Did you take it with the combat right at the beginning, or not?
No, he didn't take anything.
It would have been left over. He
laid on the floor.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So Studley will head round to their apartment, whatever they have, about 2:00. He'll go round on his Dodge Scoot.
Yeah. Cool.
Park it up outside and go upstairs so that we can continue the discussion.
Yeah.
So have we had any more thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, don't go back.
Wow.
I think that is an option for you, Mr. Bob. Now, of course, it would mean that you don't get any share of the funds.
Billy Bob needs paid.
Yes. Hector, any?
only on sort of like along the lines that I was thinking of last night. Maybe
Okay.
we could get rid of a ghost. Either, Hector does the magic, or we could see if a priest could mumble around and throw some water in places. I don't know what the sort of stuff they do in the films.
I think the first thing we do is that we do need to ascertain exactly what we're dealing with, and for that we are going to need some more information. Mr. Bob, unfortunately, your skill set doesn't really lend itself to the gathering of information. The only thing I could probably suggest that you do would be to keep the property under surveillance, maybe park up over the street from it.
Your comlinks go off. There seems to be an incoming call. It seems to be from Cookie.
Studley
will
answer.
You saw
yes,
like
Mr. Cookie.
I just wondered about an update. Can I sort of like move my stuff in now?
No. We have done a preliminary reconnaissance of the building, and it does indeed seem to be haunted, as you may well put it.
Rubbish.
I do have a fair amount of experience on the magical side, and I did see it with my own eyes. It was definitely some type of malevolent spirit, which we do need to get rid of. I would not advise moving your stuff in until that has taken place, especially seen as the last.
Sounds like a good idea. Get rid of it.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Yeah, I'll ring my uncle in a moment and see if he knows of any murders in the property.
Do you? I believe you have another acquaintance which you do call on from time to time.
Yeah, Tasha, she's in city planning.
Yes, I wondered whether or not you could perchance find out the history of the property, if you could, any previous owners, the name of the person who committed suicide in front of the van could also be useful, so that we can then chase up that lead. If you could also check up to see whether or not there was any applications for change of use in the past, or applications for alterations or proposed alterations on the building, that would also be very interesting. Yeah. And lastly, if possible, I don't know whether or not you could actually find out about any old drainage or old tunnel systems that's running from the docks that might actually pass underneath that particular building, especially with the spirit rising up through the floor. That might well be good to know.
Yeah, I can do that.
And of course, yes, if you could look into the apparent suicide of the electrical store owner, that may well also give us another lead.
So remember, I posted this in the chat some time ago. Remember that information from contacts is not free. So you can get, depending what you want, if you want just information, then it's their connection rating times 100 credits. If it's goods and services that you wish to receive from them, then it's their connection rating times 1,000 credits. So that's sort of like, assume that you're sort of like paying them either across the counter in a pleasant way, or, you know, to look after them. So it's not actually free of charge. Everything sort of like requires money. And just to let you know, I'm not going to roll it anymore. You guys can roll it. In order for your contact to be available, you roll 2d6s, and you need to get equal or higher to their connection, the connection rating that your contact has, unless it's quite obvious that they're not going to be around. For example, if you're calling somebody just gone midnight, they're not likely to be at work. In which case I would overrule it. But generally, so if you want to meet your contact, then you tell me who you would like to meet, and then you just roll. Tell me the connection, and then roll 2d6s, and then that would be the cost. Sorry, that would be whether or not they are available, you know, for a significant period of time.
Okay. Hector will probably try and ring his uncle first.
Okay. What's his connection rating?
3, so it's 2d6.
And what's Hector's normal name?
Ted Jones.
Ted. Okay, thank you.
Teddy.
No, Ted, not Teddy.
And what's your uncle's connection rating?
Connection's 3, loyalty 3.
Okay, thank you.
All the 3s.
Cool.
Got 5.
Yeah. So and I think he's a police officer, law enforcer.
He's law enforcement. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then. So yeah. So you phone Ted's comlink, and there seems to be quite a wait, and then all of a sudden he sort of like picks it up and goes. He just sort of like says, "Yeah." There's quite a lot of background noise going on. There sounds as if there's sort of something like like a busy law enforcer's precinct as people are moving around in the background. He sort of like says, "Yeah." So I didn't catch the other bit yet.
So, hi, it's me. It's me, Ted. I was just wondering if you could help me. I've got a couple of questions to ask about any potential murders in a particular location.
You do tend to phone, Ted, at the most inopportune moments.
I'm sorry. Would I be able to give you the information and leave it with you then? Would that be?
Well, what do you want this time?
My friends and I are looking into a building which is supposedly haunted, and we were just wanting to know if there's been any murders in that particular building, and then also there was a suicide outside as well, or apparent suicide. A guy ran in front of a car who ran out from. He used to be the owner of that building, and he ran out of the building and was run over by a car. So we were just wondering if we could know anything about that. That's all.
Details. I can see why you never made the law enforcement squad, kids. Kid, details. You just want me to search for a person who got knocked over by a van?
Hector will ping across the address of the location.
Yeah, what is the address?
Oh, God, I've written it down somewhere.
Studley Hill, Indigo, 45 Leighton Road.
45 Leighton Road, south side.
Is that where the person got knocked over?
Yeah, he was the owner of that building. It was an electrical goods store. He just ran outside and was knocked over by a van.
Okay, so well done, Ted. You're getting to the grips of this thing. We might just make you a law enforcer yet. So you've given me the location. What do you think I need next?
The time?
Yes, well done, my lad. A law enforcer yet.
I can't remember what time it was. I didn't write it down. Was it in...
Do you want to have a guess, or do you want me to just to...
Yeah. No, it's. No, I don't know. I can't remember, and I didn't write that down.
Okay, so do you want me to give you the that's what I'm asking. Do you just want me to give you the answer, or do you want to role play out that you don't know?
Could you give it, and then because Hector would know.
Okay, so
But
he
I
says,
as the player, forgot to write it down.
yeah, no, because and that's when I think I would differ, because I would sort of like say, if you didn't write it down, then I mean Billy Bob probably wouldn't know. And the other question is, do you actually know when this occurred?
I don't have the information.
No,
I don't think you actually gave us the full information on it.
correct, Billy Bob.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
The only thing I could go on was that it must have been before. It must have been just before Carrot purchased the building. So I would have said probably 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Carrot.
Sorry,
You
not
meant
Carrot.
Cookie.
And Cookie.
So are you Studley? Are you sort of like saying 2 to 3 weeks ago?
That's what Studley thinks. I mean, he's not 100% sure, but
It might be. It was probably about 3 weeks or more ago. The chap got run over.
He says, I'll scan I'll get somebody to scan the computers. He says, that's not, be my level in the law enforcement. It's not the sort of like thing I do, but I'll see if somebody can run a check for you.
Thank you. And then there was also the check in the building to see if there was any reported murders in the building within.
He says, one moment. He says, do you know where Leighton Road is?
Yeah, it's deep south side.
Right. So, my lad.
I can imagine there's been a lot of murders.
Oh, if there has been a lot of murders, how many of them do you think is reported to the law enforcers?
Probably not that many. In hindsight,
we'll make a law enforcer out of you yet. And he says, I'll look into it for you. Oh, God.
Thanks, Uncle.
He sort of like terminates the line. You can pay once he comes back with the information.
Well, that didn't go too well, but we'll see what he comes up with.
Yes. Right. So we'll wait on that. Do you want to?
I can.
Do you need a rest before you?
I can try Tasha if you want.
Okay. Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to check the check the various news stations, etc. See whether or not I can find anything on the actual apparent suicide of this gentleman. Although I don't think we'll find anything.
So, sorry, Studley, what do you want to check about?
Studley wants to start off by he wants to see whether or not he can find out any information about the electrical store by going on and sort of like searching for the name on the matrix.
Okay, then.
Although we why have I got magical leaf down?
That was
the name of the building.
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
That was the name of the shop before it was an electrical shop.
Okay, so I want to start off by searching for the electrical store and see whether or not I can find out any information.
Okay, and then
I want to look at
see whether or not I can find any information about the previous store, the Magical Leaf.
Okay. So roll your matrix search, but you can add. Do you have a paranormal skill?
I have paranormal critters and also parazoology.
Okay then. So take your critters roll. Take whichever one of those two. Do you just have?
They're both the same. They're both the same skill level.
Just roll your parazoology or roll your investigative journalism. Okay, so what I think you can do, you can augment your matrix search with your investigative journalism, because you're focusing very much on paranormal stuff. So you can use those 5 successes in one of 2 ways. You can either use it to increase your limit of your matrix search, or you can use it as a dice pool. Okay, you can't split it.
Okay, I'll use it to increase my limit.
Okay. So roll your matrix search and tell me how many successes you get.
Billy Bob's going to be searching YouTube how to vanquish ghosts.
So I got 4 successes.
Okay, here's your bits of information. Here's your 4 bits of information. Okay, there is no information. There's one news story across the media about the electrical store, and it's basically saying that it was haunted. And it's on one of those shows when people come round, most haunted, Southside's most haunted thing, but nothing actually.
And how far does that date back?
It's about a couple of months back. Okay. However, there's something a long time ago, long time ago, almost like 60 years ago. And there's when the shop was called the Magic Leaf. Okay, and there is a ghost story or story on the news that tells of an incident that happened in the Magic Leaf, and it basically says that it used to be a talismonger shop there selling magical items, etc. And it was subject to a raid by an elven street gang called the Silver Tongues, as in okay, and it tells a story that there was a raid that almost like they looked like they were trying to get drugs or magical items or something like that, but something went wrong on the raid, and 2 people were actually killed. The shop owner, a woman, okay, called Monica, and her 5-year-old daughter, doesn't give a name, and they were actually shot and killed in the shop. You've got one more piece of information. There was an eyewitness to the account, to the raid at that time, who was actually an elf as well, called Mistletoe.
Okay. Thank you.
Apart from that, there's nothing else in the news feeds apart from this reoccurring theme of the shop being haunted. And you can see that several times since that 60 years ago. people have been trying to buy it, but then they've left because of the hauntedness.
Okay. I think Hector was.
Yeah, Hector was going to ring Tasha and city planning to see if see if there was any history of the house, the building being modified, or history, underlying sewer plans and that sort of thing.
What's the connection?
One.
Well,
Oh, she's going to answer.
Yeah. Roll your 2d6s.
2d6.
Yeah, cool.
8.
You sort of like ring her, and she sort of like says, "Hello."
Hi, Tasha. It's Ted.
Shh. She says, "Ted, I'm at work."
Sorry. I was wondering if you could do me a favour.
What now?
Well,
Just one moment. Just one moment. Yes, Beth. Yeah. Just have a soy calf. Yeah. Oh no! Don't tempt me with a donut. You know what it does to my hips. Oh, go on then. One with sprinkles. Ted?
Yeah, I was hoping you could let me know if a particular building had been changed or altered, or had any planning applications in the last like 60 years.
Are you arranging something, Ted? For us?
Yes, but not this, because I don't think you'd like this place.
Are you buying a house for us?
It's haunted, so I don't think you'd like this one.
Sorry, you want me to check a haunted house?
Well, the house is haunted, we think, but it's. I was hoping you could help us out with some of the history of the house for my other job.
Do you know, Ted, it's always give with you, isn't it? That's all you want from me. You
I
just
took
want
you out
me
for
to.
that meal the other week.
Ted, that does not make this is not making this relationship work. You know, one burger and a milkshake is not enough. You just want me to give. I just keep on giving. It's always about houses or warehouses or underground passages. Ted, do you like me?
Of course I do, Tasha.
I mean, do you... One second. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Beth. Yeah, it's him. Yeah. And you hear somebody shout from a distance, "Dirtbag!" Like that. Oh, don't be like that. He can hear. You know what he's like. Send me the address, Ted.
Thank you, will do. And I'll take you out for a nice meal very soon.
She's no longer on the comm.
He says that anyway. And then he's going to follow up by sending her a message with, the 40.
I love you,
Lanthorn Road, South Side.
And Billy Bob, on YouTube, you see you've started off looking for how to get rid of ghosts, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
in typical YouTube manner, you start looking for something and then you've ended up watching something completely different. And now you've ended up watching some kind of reality TV called Love Shack, when a whole load of people get put in a shack together and they live there for about 3 or 4 years in just bikinis and swimming trunks, and people get to vote them out and you've got really involved with this now, and you actually pick up your communicator at one point to actually type in, who you want to be voted out, but you suddenly notice it comes across the bottom of the thing: do not watch this, do not vote if you're watching this on YouTube. You thought, oh, crap. And then you use that sort of like moves on to other realities, and then girls in bikinis and so forth and so on. And so you're the sort of like, you manage to get yourself some kind of artificial popcorn to sort of like nib on, and some Pop-Tarts now. So you're quite happy, You've stripped down to just your vest and your pants, and you're just sort of like sat there, quite happily chilling out, waiting for some action to start.
Sounds about right.
All right.
Don't come in.
Interesting information that I found on the via my matrix search. Yes, it's going back to when the building was the magical shop, the Magic Leaf, and it was raided by a street gang, and the proprietor and her daughter were allegedly both killed. I think this is a lead that we do need to follow up. The emotion on the premises was almost childlike in some respects, and the underlying emotion of love could well have been the mother, Monica.
So there were people murdered there.
Yes, we're going. We are going back sort of like 60 years ago.
Okay, I should probably tell my uncle that. It might narrow down his search. Hector says as he gets his comlink out and sends a message.
One of the
his uncle with that information.
Do you maybe want to send him another message and see whether or not there was a witness to this murder called her name was Mistletoe.
Oh yeah, I haven't sent the message. Finished typing the message. I'm a little bit slow.
I would really like to maybe speak to her if she's still alive. To be honest with you, I'm hoping that maybe she was something to do with the street gang. They were called the Silver Tongues, a elvish gang, I do believe, and I'm hoping that Mistletoe herself is an elf and therefore would still be around, and maybe she could remember something of that night.
Yeah, I'll send that off.
And whilst we're on the subject of more information, do any of you have any knowledge of street gangs? Inwards, I can't hear you at all.
Sorry, did you hear what I said about Discord?
No.
You might want to open Discord. No, sorry, just you, Longshanks.
Where did I put my phone? There's my phone. I'll do it on my phone, otherwise my computer, it will go funny. I saw you type in the 400 credits for the information. That's it.
Oh.
Studley, you would have got this when you matrix search. It's just so you know, mistletoe's not a woman; it's a man.
Assuming gender. Oh dear.
Data protection. No. Okay. So Hector will say to Studley, as after he sends the message, he noticed that he's got a text message and a data file on his comlink. He'll say, Tasha says there was no alteration or anything to the building since construction, so that's that one. And then he opens up the data file from his uncle.
Yeah, the data file from Ted. There's no record of a person being knocked over by a van in Deep South Side at all. But there has been some news stories rather than police records, because with a law level of 4, law enforcers are not really bothered about Deep South Side. He has sent you something that his secretary has found on that 45 Leighton Road. What was meant to be haunted. He sort of like sends you the similar information that Studley has provided via the Matrix about the attacks some 60 years ago. He also includes that there's been accounts of people found just lying unconscious in the street as well. And there's even a rumour that even the homeless, the street people, stay away from it altogether. There was a rich girl who went missing some time ago. And it's about 40 years ago, and the girl was actually kidnapped via the police records and actually taken down into Southside, and she actually managed to escape, and they actually found her in the Magic Leaf, as it was then before anybody took it over. But she was actually found dead, and interestingly enough, the record says dead and still, and there's no other information about it.
Okay, so Hector explains that to Studley, and then it's like knocking on Billy Bob's door and sort of like talking through the door as well, saying sort of like. The place has been. My uncle says that the place has been haunted for years. After pretty much confirming what you said as well from what you found, Studley, sort of like the owner and her daughter was shot by members of an Elven street gang. But he's also said that people are fairly often found unconscious outside. And so he also said there's a closed case of from about 40 years ago of a rich girl who was kidnapped and found in Southside, and she was actually found, interestingly, dead and still inside the Magic Leaf.
What's that mean?
It puts big emphasis on still.
The question that we should be asking ourselves is, are there any reported hauntings after the alleged murder of Monica and her 5-year-old daughter, and the witch girl being found dead and still within the premises?
Say that again, sorry, Studley. I just didn't hear the timeline.
Whether or not there's any reports of any of this haunting in between the murder of Monica and her daughter and the girl being found.
Yes.
So there is right.
Yeah.
So taking that into account, I would have thought the underlining issue would still probably be the murder of Monica and her daughter.
Well, it seems like it. If the hauntings have been happening for about 60 years, then that and it was still happening between that 20-year gap between the owner being killed and the girl being found dead and still, then it sounds like that's probably what it is.
Still what?
The report doesn't say it; just said dead and still. It's like underlined a couple of times, and then bold text. So it was obviously important, but they didn't. Michael didn't send me the full, complete police file. Understandably.
So again, back to my previous question. Mr. Bob. Yes.
In his pants.
I don't like your pants.
You notice that Hector doesn't really react to this because he's used to this sight of Billy Bob wandering around in his.
So my previous question.
They're actually retro SpongeBob square pants. Boxers that he's wearing.
Yeah. The Silver Tongue gang, an elvish gang, I do believe. Anybody know about it?
Can Hector roll his street gangs?
Yes, by all means.
Specialization 9.
Yeah, go for it. What would you like to know?
Sort of like if they're still around the sort of areas that they sort of like hang around in.
Hang on. Are they still around? No. The Silver Tongues would have been teenagers 60 years ago, and even by elf years, they've probably grown out of gangs. Okay. What's the second question? Sorry.
So like, did they have any other areas that they particularly frequented, other than?
They were a typical a street gang in Lower South Side. That's where they hung out. And you have one more question for your 3 successes.
If they had any sort of like specific affiliation with someone called Mistletoe?
No, they were quite a low key gang. They weren't sort of like high up or anything like that. I mean, you even talking, because I'm assuming what you've actually done here is gone out and talked to people around this street, or even just from your own memory, and there seems to be no connection with somebody called Mistletoe.
Okay, so Hector passes all that on to Studley and Billy Bob from his recollection and sort of like having been out for sort of like an hour or so, wandering around, talking to people.
Right. Okay. So, any thoughts on it?
Where's the gangs now?
I think the gang in question is no longer a gang.
If you could even really have called it a gang, by the sounds it was just a group of kids at the time.
Okay, so we're probably going down the path now that if Mistletoe wasn't a member of the gang,
it's about 5 o'clock now.
Then what else could he have been? A visitor to the Magic Leaf?
Could have been.
Is Mistletoe alive?
Or did Mistletoe live nearby? And if so, how are we going to find out whether or not he is still there?
Well, I suppose we could try a matrix search, see if.
No. I'll give you a clue. We do need to speak to somebody who is of an older age who might remember the area at that time. Okay. So what I think we should do is we should go back to the pie and scarf and see whether or not we can actually ask the bartender whether or not we could maybe speak to his mother about the good old days. She will probably be of that age, and maybe she either remembers the murder or may even remember mistletoe.
That sounds like a good idea.
Excellent.
Is Billy Bob putting
Billy
pants
Bob, can
on?
you put some pants on?
Yeah, Billy Bob's going to get dressed in his gear.
Cool.
It's just normal meat gear he's wearing. Hang on, let me change my thing.
Okay, so are you planning on it's 5 o'clock? Are you planning on heading over there straight away?
Probably not straight away. Maybe give it a few hours.
Okay.
Because is it the type of place that will be open at 5 o'clock?
Well, it's probably one of these 24/7 bars, but you know that even when you went quite late at night, about 10 o'clock, it's not a popular bar, the Pie and Scoff. It's quite a sort of like a couple of regulars maybe, and the barkeeper cleaning glasses with a white cloth sort of bar. It's not sort of like a massive popular place at all.
Okay, so the plan is to maybe go back there at about 7, half 7, so have a couple of hours when Studley can sort out the tea for his mom and put her to bed, etc., and then arrange to then head back over to the area of Southside where the Pie and Scoff is.
To the Pie and Scoff.
Bob can watch the rest of this series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plenty of time for that. Yeah. Okay then. So you sort of like Billy Bob watches the rest of the YouTube video, frantically liking it because there's a competition that if you give so like 7 likes, the person with the most likes on it actually gets a prize, and he's sort of like frantically sort of like pressing it. And Hector and Studley, you actually noticed that the video was dated 2010. And it's 2076 at the moment, but Billy Bob's still sort of like frantically trying to get as many likes on it as possible. But neither of you are sort of like you're too kind to sort of like point this out to the big orc.
Too kind, more like too worried, what you might say.
Yeah, it's either that or you're just laughing at him behind his back, and then
Hector wouldn't do that.
You fire up Rusty Rosie and you head over to the Pie and Scoff, and you arrive there about 8 o'clock.
So Studley wants to cast a spell before he
Cool.
before he goes
I'm
in.
Thinking increase charisma or clout.
No, actually, he's not. He's not going to cast it. He's no, he's not. Oh yeah, no, he is. He is. Yes.
Okay.
He's going to cast it as force level 3, though.
Okay. Cool. Go for it.
Oh, hang on. It's
Quite possibly.
Billy Bob's got to be mentioned. I hope Monica gets voted out next.
Yeah. So you resist the drain,
okay.
and 3 successes.
Yeah.
which is what my thing can hold. So that puts 3 onto my
charisma. And you head into the pie and scoff, and as always, the guy is there, sort of like cleaning his glasses, his tankards, and there's a couple of people stood there, and they seem to be watching something on the big screen. And Billy Bob, you sort of like look at it, and you're a bit puzzled, because there's a rather old-looking moniker presenting the show now, and you sort of like think, hang on a minute, what's going on there? You know, you've just been voting for her, and now she seems to be quite elderly and presenting.
She's got her boobs tucked in the boots.
Presenting the same show as before. And Studley, you, I presume, you walk up to the bar and
Studley opens the door, and as soon as the barman sort of like turns around and sees him, Studley sort of like smiles and goes, "Drinks all round."
Okay, so the guy sort of like looks up and then looks back to his bottle and his little shot glass that he seems to be drinking, and you can see that on the shot glass, it seems to say it's actually saying Ares 40 caliber, which is a sort of like a synthol, so synthetic alcohol. It's very cheap. But meant to be quite potent. Okay.
So Studley will go up to the bar and he'll say, yeah, so nice to see you again. How's business been?
Slow.
Yes, I think it's the time of year. I suppose it's all these larger establishments that always put the drain on the local the local establishments.
He sort of like looks at it. He says, Scotch?
Yes, that would be absolutely.
He brings out three shot glasses and goes dunk 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 like that, and he pours something in called T-bird fuel. It's slightly darker than the sort of like the amber looking Scotch that you're used to. It looks quite potent, and he sort of like points it out, and you hold out your comlink, and he scans it to remove 20 credits per drink. And he puts a stopper back on. You suddenly notice that this T-bird fuel bottle looks quite dusty, and this sort of like unused, and he sort of like turns it back and puts it back onto the bar, the rack behind him.
I was wondering whether or not it would be possible to.
So I'm just wondering what you're going to say.
To maybe speak with your mother. I have a few questions regarding something that happened near on over 60 years ago in the area. I'm hoping that you were, well, she was, of course you're not, because of course you're not 60 yourself, but I'm hoping that maybe she was in the area around then. I don't know, maybe you took over running the bar from her.
He says,
of course, it would be worth your while.
He says,
if we could ask her some questions.
He sort of like stares at you for a while, slightly frowning, and then says, "You're not trying to hit on my mother, are you?"
No, I already have a mother who takes...
more than a mother.
No.
He sort of like scans.
Definitely.
He scans down the three of you. He says, "This is not some weird sort of like party, is it?"
No.
Point Hector pays particular interest for the first time to the Love Shack film, rerun or whatever it is that's on the television.
No, she's. I mean, you're quite welcome to be in on the meeting, and we will, of course, sit at opposite sides of a table, just so that you are aware that there is no funny business happening.
Is it all of you?
No. These gentlemen can probably remain in the bar, and I just need to ask her some questions.
Yeah, probably just as well, because Mother's not quite that keen on his type. And he
yes.
nods at you, Hector, although you can't see because you're watching the telly. Not keen
Yes,
on his type.
adepts. Yes.
I was talking more about, his. Well, we can't really say what I would like to say. Well, what my mother would say.
You mean my pointy ears?
Oh.
Hector says without turning round.
Well, and the fact that he eavesdrops in conversations.
So, yes. Would that be possible?
He says, I'll take you up.
Oh,
But this better be worth my while.
No, of course, yes.
And he holds out his comlink.
Billy Bob turns around to Hector and just says, "She's so old."
What do you expect, Billy Bob?
I'll put 200 credits on it.
Okay, cool. Roll your negotiation for me, please, but add +2 dice.
You'll see the situation modifier at 5.
Yeah, that's cool. So that's charisma's normally 3, plus your negotiation is 1, +3 for your increase charisma, +2 for the money. Yeah. Four successes. Yeah. Okay, so he takes you. As he walks out the bar, he sort of like takes you to almost like a door at the side of the bar, and before he leaves, Hector and Billy Bob, he turns round to the old guy who sat with a bottle, and he says, "Oi, Bob, keep an eye on the bar." And the guy just goes, and just sort of like heads down, and he takes you. It doesn't take you to the sort of like the ground floor, Studley. He takes you up a set of rickety stairs to almost like the upstairs of the Pie and Scoff. Very similar layout to the the Magic Leaf, how it was. This bottom, the ground floor is probably like the shop part that they've converted into a pub. And if you remember, there was a set of stairs at the back that led up to the first floor. And you notice that it's the typical long corridor with rooms off. And he takes you right the way to the end. And there's a slight whiff of ammonia coming out of the door. And he sort of like knocks on the door and he says, "Mother, you got a visitor." And you hear this sound going, "What? You got a visitor, Mother?" "A what?" And he looks at you and says, "Just go in." And you open the door, and it's a quite dark room. And you can see over in one corner, there's sort of like a bed. And there's this elderly woman who you figure must be in her 90s. Sat there propped up with these big cushions and just sort of like sat in bed, and she seems to be watching a television straight ahead, and there's a weird rerun showing it, something about Golden Girls or Silver Girls or something like that, and it's running, and she's sort of like watching it, and there's no sound on at all. And she just seems to be, she just sort of like looks over at you as you come in. You do notice that there's a chair parked next to the bed, as if somebody's been sat there talking to her or comforting her, etc.
Okay. So Studley's going to go up and as he gets close to the bed, he's going to go. Good evening. My name is Stanley. Stanley Lovely.
She sort of like looks around, and she's got these old-fashioned glasses on the edge of her nose, and you obviously notice that she hasn't had any cyber implants. And she looks around, and she almost like seems to zoom in on the sound rather than anything. And she says, "Oh, there you are. Hello,
Yes.
Hello, Tudley.
No,
How are you?
Stanley.
Have you come to take me dancing?
Not tonight.
I hope you are not suggesting anything else, Tudley.
No. Do you mind if I sit down?
By all means, sit. Either on the chair or on the, and she taps the bed, on the bed next to me.
Yes.
She seems to have grey, tight permed hair, and you notice that her fingers are sort of like almost like withered, and she's sort of like there. She obviously lives in this bed, and as you get closer, the smell of ammonia and almost like a bit of human feces sort of like whiffs up to you.
Yeah, Studley is very used to that smell.
Yes.
Especially of the ammonia. He probably doesn't even it doesn't even faze him at all. But Studley will sit down and he will pull the chair a bit close to the bed just so that she can see him and hear him a bit better. And then he'll say, I was wondering if I could maybe tap into your knowledge about the neighborhood in the past. I don't know how
you
long,
want to talk about the olden days?
Yeah,
I
yes,
love the olden days. Let us float back to the olden days.
Yes, I mean, if you don't mind floating back about 60 years.
Can you roll a con roll for me, please? And I'll give you plus 2 dice for mentioning the olden days. And not flinching from the smell of ammonia. Cool.
Good job you gave me the 2 dice.
Let's talk 60 years ago. I think I was going out with Burke there. Fine man. Really strong. Really bristly thighs. I remember him well.
Do you remember anything about the shop just round the corner? The Magic Leaf, I do believe it
fine
was,
shop. Very
called.
sad what happened there. Very sad.
Can you remember exactly what happened? It's I know it's a long time ago.
She sort of like gets really close to you as much as she can, and you sort of like get a whiff of bad breath sort of like wafting over you as she talks, and you can smell her placked and cracked teeth, which is quite appropriate at the moment. Oh yes, I remember it well.
Just go back a bit, because when you do that, I can't hear what you're saying on your mic.
I remember it well.
Apparently there was a murder there.
Well, some say a murder, some say accidental death, some say something hideous happened in that magic leaf. So sad, so sad. Mother and daughter gone in one fair swoop.
I mean that's what I heard. Monica, I do believe she was called, and her daughter,
Beth.
Oh, yes.
Or was it Rachel?
Yes.
Or was it Penelope?
Yes, yes.
They were never convicted, you know.
The
Law
gang.
enforcers are so rubbish in this area. They go around in their speedy cars, paying not a blind piece of notice to the world of crime around them.
But how come they were never convicted? I thought there was a witness.
Oh, yes, there was. Mistletoe.
Yes.
The elven talismonger. He's still around, you know. Just a
He
little
can't be still around.
Oh, yes. These elves last forever. You can hardly ever get rid of them. They're like those things that crawl in your hair. You know, just when you think you've got rid of them, one of them comes back. Disgusting little things.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
he gave loads of evidence, you know, loads. But the law enforcers never convicted them. Never.
And you say he is still alive? Is he does he live in the area or?
Yes, just down the road. He has a talismonger shop.
Ah.
He doesn't come to the pie and scoff, though. Not since I'm no longer serving. I think he liked my, you know. And she sort of like
Gravy.
She looks down at her nightie, and there's this sort of like nothing there. It's also like drooping. She says, "Assets."
Ah. Oh, yes, I thought you were going to say gravy. Yes, because I'm partial to meaty gravy myself.
I could make you some gravy. I think I still have the recipe for the finest gravy in Southside.
I wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind getting that from you. Maybe next time I come visit to take you dancing.
Oh, we got you, bad boy, you.
So, what was the name of the talismonger shop? Mistletoes.
Oh, now then.
It's of no matter. I can probably.
I know this. Got it. Fiddlesticks.
Oh, that's the name of it. Oh, yes, Fiddlesticks. Yes.
Yes.
Well, it was very nice. Very nice talking to you.
Oh, dancing next Tuesday?
I shall talk to your son to.
Ignore him.
See,
He's not a dancer. Take me.
No.
We can certainly boogie together.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your help.
Come back soon. Don't forget to visit.
I certainly will. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, and you go out of the room and head down the stairs. And I think that will be a suitable time. While Billy Bob and Hector are watching the Love Shack on the film.
Love Shack is a little place
to take
they can get together.
To take to have a bit of a break. And so we'll have a 10-minute break and we'll be back in 10.